The Nigerian e-commerce industry is still in its early days, but has attracted hundreds of millions of foreign investment, created thousands of jobs and small businesses who've become merchants. Our guest is Shola Adekoya, CEO Konga.com. He joins us to discuss the prospects and challenges of online shopping in Nigeria.
Let's look at the whole e-commerce industry. What's your assessment?
My assessment is simple. E-commerce is still in the very early stages. I think e-commerce matures over time as the society becomes a bit more digitalized. So e-commerce would, the digitalization of the society would have a positive impact on e-commerce and also determine the growth rate.
Nigerians, are more Nigerians actually accepting it now?
I think a lot of people are, first of all, accepting digitalization. So we have a lot of people using data, checking updates. So when you look at about 90 million people data subscribers, so people already understand the internet. The question is now, how do people move from understanding that there's internet to how can I do transactions online, from banking to purchasing, e-commerce, to sort of like even your lifestyle and everything. So it's a journey.
Many would argue that companies like yours are helping making more people jobless. What do you have to say about that?
I totally disagree. First of all, when you look at the percentage penetration of e-commerce, when you look at the percentage of retail sales that's done online, you realize that there's still a lot more happening offline. So we haven't made anybody jobless, and I don't think we'll make anybody jobless just yet. It's just that the consumer approach or behavior will be different. So just imagine, if anything, we've actually added to it. We have about 60,000 merchants. Some of them, small entrepreneurs, have grown on the platform, didn't have anything before, and have now become successful. We have about 90 locations nationwide, all run by entrepreneurs. These guys were happy to come on board to do service our customers, and each of those locations would have at least between 10 to 12 staff. So if anything, we're actually creating work. Look at the unemployment rate in Nigeria. I think over time, e-commerce actually has a value to add. I think beyond just e-commerce, technology, how do we embrace technology? Everybody is concerned about technology taking away jobs, but I think all it's doing is taking away the mundane activities and allowing people to free themselves to think about more value adds that can happen in the society. I think when you also think about how well have we embraced the human mind, I think we use less than 10% of our mental capacity. So how can technology allow you focus on expanding that is what we're about.
So how do we deal with the issue of trust?
Yeah, and this is something that you build over time. So I think the industry, when we started, and we're also all learning. Every society has its own nuances. I was reading somewhere, I think it was Recode, where even Jeff Bezos was saying, if the infrastructure, the logistics infrastructure were not in place, you probably wouldn't have done Amazon go so aggressive. But in Nigeria, without infrastructure, we're having to push ahead, and what that simply means is that there's some learnings. And I use Konga for example, like when we started, we're happy to outsource all our logistics, but then as we scaled up, we realized that even these courier companies were not set up for e-commerce. The way you ship a letter, the way you ship a parcel is different from shipping a double fridge freezer. It's different from shipping an air conditioner. And in the same package, you have a shirt. You can't crumple up a shirt. So there's a learning that we had to go through, and I think over time we've mastered this, and we're getting better at it. So it's now sort of like selling to customers that, look, we've improved, we've grown, we understand you better, and we serve you better, and that's what we're. So trust, yeah, there's trust issues, but and I don't think it's a trust issue with just e-commerce. So where I would say trust issue comes from, do you fulfill exactly the way the customer wanted, or is my card safe? Is my payment details safe with a third party? That's part of it. So, and that's beyond us. Before e-commerce, I think one of the reasons why, one of the challenges that e-commerce has had is also the negative sort of like views around online. You know, there's the 419, there's the scammers online. Why do I give them my money?
What do you think is the solution to that?
Well, the solution is it's a bigger one. First of all, security. I would say when you look at the number of bank accounts, look at number of cards, look at even the government, how have they embraced electronic transactions, e-commerce, how have they applied, how have they gone towards e-government? If you don't fix those issues, you can't expect e-commerce companies to fix it. So the society needs to move forward in that area before you expect e-commerce companies to also sort of like add their own value. Yeah. So, but personally, I think people need to get comfortable with using first of all, people need to own bank accounts first. If you don't own bank accounts, own a mobile money account first, and then you can then begin to see the benefits of being able to just pay conveniently versus carrying cash around. So until we see that value as a nation, I think that challenge will continue to be there. I would take up. I would say go to even a popular market in Lagos like Okeari, and try to pay with your card and tell me your results. If it's fantastic, then yes, that should give you an insight into where we are as a nation. So not just e-commerce, where we are as a nation and how it impacts e-commerce.
You mentioned Jeff. What are some of the innovations coming up in the Nigeria e-commerce space?
You know, so when we first started, the expectations were very low. Customers didn't expect it to even work. And I think, if I remember very well, there's been times where we've gone to locations outside Lagos or even in Lagos, when you bring the product to the customers and the customer is going, wow, you found me. You found my address. Is it possible? Do I really have an address? You know, so how do I call it? What we've done so far, people were, I think in the early days, expectations were low and people are excited now. Now, as consumers now begin to say, well, now you know my address, bring it ASAP, bring it yesterday, bring it within an hour. Where the innovation now begins to come is how do we achieve or match those customer expectations? And I think for us, so like, I mentioned Jeff earlier on, Amazon will continue to sort of open up new categories, finding new ways to make life affordable for people. And that's where we come in. As we continue to evolve as an industry and for Konga as a company, you will begin to see us getting into the areas, everyday lives of customers, and how do we bring technology into how people do their transaction, into how people live their lives, making it simpler than what it used to be.
I know I've had Raphael Supermart here on the show at some point, and he's in this space, the grocery space which you just entered. What would you say to people like that?
The market is big. I can't kill all the cows required for to feed Lagos. The size of the market is so huge that one person can't do it. And then there's also different offerings that you can also offer to customers. So some customers are happy to just shop, bring it to whereas some people want a bit of a personalized experience. So I think the ways you come into the market are, the opportunities are still there. It's just how you decide to sort of approach your customers that matters. I don't think anybody is, it's just growing the pie, to be honest.
Thank you for being on Tech Trends today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's a wrap on this edition of the show, but the conversation continues online. Do follow us on social media. Remember, you can watch the entire show on the channel's TV YouTube account or via my blog, cfatech.ng. For Tech Trends, I am Chukwemeka Agbata.